Introing the players in the upper right, blowing our brains with that unbelievably unique and sexy build, proving to us that there are other ways to play. Protoss versus Zerg. He is MC. In the bottom left starting location, we have our Zerg player. He's been in the finals of an MLG, but he has yet to win one. He's eager to get there now. He is DRG. Durg. Thank God his
Durg
ID
is killing.
Thank God his ID isn't Durg.
Yeah. All right, so Daybreak. This map is a map that DRG normally always wins, and it's with that style that we've talked a lot about this weekend. A lot of roaches attacking everywhere, into a lot of mutas attacking everywhere. And normally Protosses are dead by then. But he tried that against MC when they played before, and MC minimized the damage as best he could, took 4 bases, and just kind of defended. And eventually DRG realized, uh-oh, I've lost too much. I've lost this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder how many more cards MC has up his sleeve. There aren't a ton of Zergs left. You know, if he has any other phenomenal, amazing builds, he's going to have to pull them out now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
there's so much on the line.
This absolutely. The odds of him actually facing Violet, I mean, he'd have to be in the finals.
Yeah.
That's the only way, because it's just not going to happen.
Guys, tell us what you think. We want you to vote. Oh, no, excuse me. What am I saying? We already have the results. We have DRG at 64%. And we have MC at 36%. So clearly everybody's pretty confident that DRG, or most people are pretty confident.
About 64% of people, in fact, are confident about that.
It's more than 60.
It is, but less than 70.
That's true. Again, Pylon over here. And I wonder if the other location is actually cannon rushable. I'm going to go check right now. I don't believe that that's a one pylon cannon rush is not possible at that location.
Definitely not a 1 pylon, but maybe a 3 pylon. Well, I mean, he ran back there to try to make sure that he wouldn't actually be able to make a hatchery there. And in fact, that drone is going to have to run away. 4 Zerglings on the way. DRG very late on his hatchery this time. Normally he just runs over and makes another hatch, but I think he realizes that it would be blocked by MC, and maybe even possibly a cannon rush by MC. He does not want that to happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the probe running away now. And once this pylon is destroyed, DRG is going to make his hatchery over there.
That's right, but will he just go for that quick 3rd hatch? I do think so indeed. DRG always does. We do have MC just making his expansion. Cannon up in the front. And, you know, sometimes people don't like to have that cannon in the front as much because against any sort of all-in, it's going to be a little bit weaker.
Interesting that DRG says he's most afraid of Marine King Prime, but he's going to take his revenge. So DRG, I think, already essentially saying, well, you know, I think MC's good, but I'm probably going to beat him. He's sort of peripheral as far as my concerns go in becoming a champion at this tournament.
Well, you know, I do feel if DRG wins this, that no matter who comes out of the other side, MKP will choose to play against them first. Because I think MKP wants to give us the finals I think a lot of us want, which is another DRG MKP finals.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
My fingers crossed for that. Sorry, MC. Now, the Protoss is just continuing to tech. The Cybernetics score is not done, but when it is, we will go ahead and see if MC has another crazy build. You know, the truth is, you don't have that many builds, especially not for an event like this. An MLG is kind of a marathon of a tournament where you play a ton of games in a day against a ton of different opponents on a ton of different maps. So it's a really good way to gauge how good are you overall if we take the best people and put them all together in one space on a weekend and make them play. And what blows me away is that MC has come up with more creative, insane builds at this MLG than he has normally at a GSL Code S, where he has to actually map out something. He has a week to do it.
Yeah, that is a little bit odd, isn't it? You know, I wonder why that is.
It should be the opposite. We should have expected MC, let's say before a finals to have a set of crazy builds that are perfectly planned, but instead, it's this tournament where he's busting out all of his secret moves.
Well, nothing too secret about what he's doing right now. Getting +1, adding his 3 gates, getting a Stargate. No extra gases yet. So I wonder exactly which strategy he will do here. I mean, you can do that Sentry Warping thing he did before on this map if you really want to, but it's not really good for it like Metropolis is. And the fact that he did on Metropolis and didn't win, and that's where you put the pylon, of course, but the fact that he couldn't do it on the map that would be best for it, it means that it's probably not a good idea to do that. So we'll have to see what he wants to do with these Void Rays. Will he start a second Void Ray after the first? That's the important thing we're going to be watching for right now.
Transferring some probes over here to the gas. And again, MC sticking to his roots with that Stargate man.
Yeah, well, he's so good with it, so comfortable with it, really, that's a good choice. You want to be doing builds that you are comfortable with. One of the worst things to do, and a fallacy of a lot of pro gamers, is in fact to kind of improvise too much in a tournament. Of course, improvisation is good, it's powerful, it's something you're going to need to do somewhat, but don't just make up a new strategy on the spot. Now we do see Phoenixes as the follow-up here. So only one Void Ray. Looks like he's going to be very harassment-based.
Is he going to see the cannon? He does. So he knows aggression is on the way. This will give, you know, about 3 or 4 extra seconds to DRG to prepare for this attack. Now that it has been confirmed.
Well, he does have some roaches already. 4 more roaches in production. Zergling speed almost done. The Void Ray going to be a little bit annoying, but he does have 3 queens down here right now.
We see the roaches now pushing the zealots back.
And, well, these zealots not going to be able to do too much. DRG has a really good setup at that third base with a spore, a spine, 3 queens, some roaches, a decent creep spread. I'm really liking his position here. These zealots aren't really going to do anything.
Note he's got sentries back at his main, so I think this is where the aggression is just going to end. And we're going to see MC probably push and try to take a third base.
Well, he is making a Twilight Council. I wonder if we could see the same build again. I'm like really stoked to see if that is going to be the case. I think he got it a little bit quicker last game, but he continues to make Phoenixes. And +2 on the way. Will we see a Templar Archives? Oh, a Templar Archives! Yes! I always love it when I have more than one game to steal a build off of.
I know, man. We have a ton of builds because of MC.
Yeah.
All right, well, he's taking the Nexus, too. He's clearly confident that from the way that DRG's been playing, he's not going to be attacked probably until at least his third Nexus is finished. DRG is one of those players that tends to max out or get about 190, 180 before he attacks.
Well, right now we have 1-1 on the way for Zerglings. We have Burrow, Roach Speed, and an Infestation Pit. Now, Infestors against this build, I'll be interested to see how they do. But, you know, of course, Phoenixes can lift them up, High Templars can feedback them, and Archons don't care as much against them. So we'll have to see. It's hard to say, but DRG I guess thinks that that's going to be useful, so he is going for it. If he ends up catching something out in the open, like for instance these Phoenixes, then it's going to be great. And that is
wow. He's got a lot of queens in the air.
That's a lot of heavy lifting there, Tasis.
I know, no kidding. Can he pick them all up again? Yeah, I guess he can do that.
Well, I guess he's just going to kill all these queens.
I guess that's what happens.
Once he kills all those queens, he does have 4 more in production, but that Void Ray could go and perhaps kill off the expansion. But no, oh my god, the Void Ray with not... Oh, the queen will... Oh! That's frustrating for both players right there.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, and he's going to get the queen again now.
So now the Void Ray could turn around and go after that hatch if it wants, but, you know, more queens.
We have an attack over here inside the front of the Protoss' base. Roach is spilling in and actually running up into the main.
And that is a nice little move, trying to unpower as many gateways as possible here.
Is he going to get that other
exactly
pylon?
0 right now.
Yeah. Now going for some probes. That is, it seems to be the default move here for DRG, is when he sees stuff in the air and it's not back at the Protoss' base, he is going to attack it. By the way, in the upper left of the map, at the expansion, we have a Void Ray hitting that hatchery.
Well, Queen just going to come up and clean it up. That Void Ray very low in health. In fact, only 1 hit point in addition to its shields. Now we do have another Zergling run by right into that natural base. Nice moves by DRG, attacking these probes right away, really hurting the economy of his opponent.
I don't even know if MC knows right away. Okay, he does now. He's warping some stuff in.
Now it is 1-1 Zerglings against +2 Zealots, so they still do kill in 2 hits. But the Zerglings have done a lot of damage. In fact, 22 workers have been killed.
Again, over at the upper left, he's hitting that expansion, but I think the Queens are now going to finally kill this Void Ray here, and it does indeed go down.
Well, the Zealots have cleaned up all of the Lings, but he's in kind of rough shape. You know, DRG with 4 bases, I don't see MC being able to attack him right now. He's going to have to go into defensive mode because DRG is going to have 2/2 Lings on the way. He has Infestors on the way, and in fact, he's taking base number 5.
DRG very confident right now. MC came out a little bit strong, you know, taking out those Queens early on, but I think those counterattacks sort of blindsided MC, and it was a bit revealing to see that he really, well, it's actually just revealing in general for Protoss players, I think, but when you're out on the map and you're trying to use Void Rays and Phoenixes, you're going to be very focused on them and perhaps not ready at home.
Yep, well, that's very true, Tasteless. It catches people off guard quite often with those builds. One of the harder things to do with Protoss. Now, MC's army is, once again, a very confusing army to look at in this matchup. It looks much more like a Protoss versus Terran army. He has a lot of High Templars, a lot of Zealots, and a lot of Phoenixes. So, DRG...
Wow, that was actually pretty sick.
Yeah, that was, nice. A nice little Psystorm dance there. But DRG right now, I'm liking his spot. He has a greater Spire on the way. He has 5 bases. He's playing a little bit defensive, and the thing about Zealots is they don't do well against Broodlords.
Oh, no. In fact, they can't attack air units, as it turns out.
Yeah, it turns out
even
they
if
can't.
You picked it up with a Phoenix, okay, and try to get the Zealot to hit it, it's not going to work.
Which is ridiculous.
That
Why
is
couldn't
ridiculous.
that work? You should be able to do that. All right, so Zealot's going after this base. It is low on health, and nice force fields. He's definitely going to take this hatchery down.
But the Templars are going to be assassinated.
Nope, they're going to turn into an Archon.
Even covering the Archon with the force fields, it still goes down. Now here's the question, is the hatchery now isolated? I mean, not the hatchery, excuse me, the Protoss army where the hatchery was.
Yeah.
Is it trapped up there now?
I think it is, Tasteless. If you fungal Zealots and attack them with roaches, they don't like that so much. They can't even move. So he's dealing a ton of damage here, and this army should be cleaned up pretty easily.
He's going to lose a lot of sentries. Those are very valuable in this matchup, except for that last game. And I have to say, losing all those sentries is going to be pretty bad, especially with Protoss not on a 4th base. You can see he walled himself in, and that's intentional, but while he was leaving to do that attack, killing that pylon op and opening that back up now, just as he leaves. You know, the fundamental problem I think I see players facing when they're going up against DRG is you might kill Queens and drones and hatcheries, but somehow he's always maxed out in teching anyways.
Yeah, he's pretty good at that. One interesting thing is with that supply freed up, those Zealots no longer in the game, he's free to make a ton of Stalkers, and he already has a good set of High Templars. He has the Stargate already, so he can, in fact, go into Mothership if he wants to put down a Fleet Beacon, which he just now put down. Just a tad late, I feel. But going now, Stalker, High Templar, has a few Immortals mixed in as well for anti-Roach, but then into Mothership. It's a pretty good unit composition, and I mean, it's hard to get to, but he's done it very quickly.
All right, MC electing now to take his 4th. This is actually the scariest location to have if the player has Broodlords.
Yeah, they siege it pretty darn well, and he is making a lot of them, Tasteless. Can he stay alive long enough to get that Mothership out?
Well, we're going to have to see.
I love how MC does not hesitate to throw down Storms. He has a lot of energy on those High Templars. There's nothing worse than having a bunch of High Templars left with Storms that you were a little bit under-eager to spend.
Under-eager? Yes.
Under-eager, man. The opposite of over-eager.
Well, I think the push is about to occur from the Zerg. And the real question now is, can he survive this? He's moving in now. He's moving in now.
See how these Psystorms go. He could do feedbacks as well. Good Psystorms so far. Helping out a lot, but the Broodlord's just sniping all these High Templars so well. And now we have a lot of Broodlings surrounding Immortals.
Broodlings. Turns out that's not a fair matchup either.
No, and it's just getting completely crushed,
I think his base is going to go down. I don't think there's any way.
No, there's
no way in the world.
He has just Stalkers at this point against a ton of Broods and a ton of Infestors with a ton of energy.
All right, he's moving up here now. We don't have any more Storms. Fungals on the Stalkers. They cannot run away, allowing the Broodlords to do an incredible amount of damage to them. The Infestors now fungaling the Stalkers, and the Immortal now taking a fungal as well.
And just beautiful Fungals Tasteless, not able to do anything against this overwhelming force of high-tech units from DRG. The Psystorm's not effective enough as those Broodlings snipe them so quickly.
Yeah, he is just running this guy over. And I believe that is the beginning of the end. That's it. No way to recover. He actually takes out the Cybernetics core. That means he can't even make Stalkers.
And again, Zealots cannot hit Broodlords.
They cannot hit Broodlords. So the Broodlords is going to come in here, and that's it. That's GG.
Wow.
DRG moving on. Could he make it to the finals?
I think so. I think he could.
I think he certainly
He's
can.
playing very well today. I'm glad that we got to see that strategy again from MC. Totally didn't work this time. Guys, how do you feel about that?
It's definitely, it's like I said the last time, you got to build infestors. If you're Zerg and, you're not playing against, if you're playing against a top-level Protoss like MC, you're not just going to run them with roaches every game. Antigua's kind of MC throwing an oddball strat out. The other games we saw, Dongraegu realized his mistakes in their past series, and he's like, okay, roaches aren't going to cut it. Need to add some infestors. Mops up the game pretty easy.
That's the short end of it, right? if you started off a little bit earlier, the little pressure that MC put on, where he warped in 4 Zealots and 4 Zealots, went in with the Void Race. DRG held that off beautifully. We were talking about how he didn't over roach.
Yeah.
And he just kept making drones with the roach, and he still held it off beautifully. And then remember how we were talking about how roach sling would be bad, but as long as MC knows he's not going roach sling, the roach sling that he had was super effective because he just ran in.
Yeah, exactly. It's if a Protoss wants to counter roach Zerging, they have to devote a lot of Blink Stalkers, a lot of Sentries, a lot of Cannons. And MC saw that Dongraegu was amassing that roach Zerging, so he didn't invest in the same defense he might have normally. And so the amount of roach Zerging that Dongraegu had was very effective on those counters, especially that Zerging counter that killed something like 20 probes in a natural. That was huge.
That was actually a huge moment. Also, how did you guys feel when he went up and, as Tasteless, you said it very well, is his army just too far away? Is it trapped over on this side of the map after killing that base?
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, the army was stuck, but the fact is that if he didn't do something fast with that army, he was dead as soon as Broodlords got out. He had to win the game there. His mothership wasn't quite in time. He didn't have, he had Storm, but he didn't have a lot of Stalkers. He didn't have Colossi. He had to trim down the gas income of the Zerg before that high-tech units came into play. Maybe he should have gone through the middle. And then if he saw a lot of roaches, he could have backed away. Because his army is very weak to a lot of roaches, and especially to infestors.
I thought it was a beautiful trap. The way he did it, he left 4 Templar with full energy back at his third and 5 cannons. And if I was the Zerg, I'd be like, well, I can probably kill this army, but I'm sure I can kill that third because all his army's out of here.
So you would have been completely tricked and got owned.
I'd be like, oh, why are the storms killing me?